Welcome to two thrifty Texans traveling the world together, the South Africa edition. If you haven't already, check out where we just left, the Namibia edition, link shown below. Our 2-hour flight from Walvis Bay, Namibia, to Cape Town, South Africa, took about an hour and 45 minutes, and we arrived at Woolsworth Cape Town Airport around 8 p.m. After learning how to drive on the left-hand side of the road in a small town like Walvis Bay, I felt pretty confident that I was ready to drive and take on the city that has a population of almost 5 million people, or about twice the entire population of the country of Namibia. Since car rentals started around $40 a day, we felt like it would be a good idea to rent a car for the next 5 days, since a taxi from the airport to our hotel would have been equivalent to 1 day's rental. We also had plans to drive 30 miles from Cape Town to Boulder Beach and 40 miles to the Cape of Good Hope during our stay. When we cleared South African customs within a few minutes, as our plane was the only international plane that landed that late in the evening, we walked outside of the airport to the car rentals and picked up a tiny Toyota 4-door hatchback that would be perfect for navigating the narrow and congested streets of Cape Town. From there, we drove 14 miles to our hotel/apartment in the upscale neighborhood of Greenpoint. The Romney Park Apartments was conveniently located to Cape Town's V&A Water Front, along with being centrally located with a beautiful view over the South Atlantic Ocean. To our surprise, we not only cleared customs, picked up our bags and rental car, but drove to our hotel and checked into our room within 1.5 hours. On day 2, after eating breakfast at the Romney Park Apartments, we drove 1 mile down to the V&A Waterfront to see all the upscale shops and outdoor live musicians. From there, we booked our 4-hour tour to Robbin Island, which was $22 for residents and $34 for foreigners. Children were half the price. The boat ride to the island took about 30 minutes and the water was quite rough, so just to keep that in mind and plan accordingly. If you don't know anything about Robbin Island, then I suggest watching the TVs inside the boat that give an ample explanation on what this place is. Big Town from Robbin Island. On day 3, we got up early and drove down to the famous Boulder Beach. It took about 1 hour to arrive and was around $11 for foreigners. During our visit, we got the opportunity to see the penguins up close as they walk through the pedestrian walkways, as you will see.
We are Boulder Beach. We are going to see the penguins here.
He thinks we probably got food. Hey, buddy.
Okay, y'all. The sign says, do not roll your windows down. And Josh rolls them down and tells them why.
Look at all of them.
Yes, I know.
After spending some time at Boulder Beach, we drove 7 miles to the entrance of Table Mountain National Park at the Cape Point National Park toll gate. After paying an entrance fee of $17 per person, we drove another 8.5 miles to the Cape of Good Hope sign. After taking a few pictures in front of the Cape of Good Hope sign, we drove 4 miles to the other side of the park to the Cape Point Natural Reserve parking lot. Since we were pressed for time, we opted to take the trolley up the 3/4 mile hill to the Cape of Good Hope Old Lighthouse. But you can always walk if you want. When you leave the Cape Point National Park toll gate, your GPS may tell you to take a right on Main or the M4 to go back to Cape Town. which would be the quickest way with a 40-mile, 1 hour and 20-minute drive. Instead of taking that right on Main, take a left on the M65 like going to Scarborough. Pass through Scarborough and drive through the western side of the peninsula toward Chapman's Peak Drive on the M6. Take the Chapman's Peak Toll Road north and continue staying on the M6 towards Camps Bay Beach. This route is 5 miles more in distance and will add 30 minutes to your route back to Cape Town, but it is some of the most beautiful scenery you can imagine, and it is a must-see. If at all possible, take this route right before dusk so you can see the sun disappear into the South Atlantic Ocean. On day 4, our agenda was to go see Table Mountain. The entrance was a little over 4 miles from the V&A Water Front and was $23 a person, but well worth its stunning views overlooking Cape Town. This price also included the cable car to the top, but if you're adventurous enough and have the time, then you are more than allowed to hike to the top instead, and that is for free. On day 5, we took our time getting up the next morning because it was our last day in Cape Town. We asked for a late checkout since our plane didn't depart until 8 p.m. with a direct flight back to the United States. I have circled the globe many times in the past 20 years, and I can honestly say that the southern continental part of Africa was some of the most beautiful scenery I have ever seen. Some of the scenery I had myself tongue-tied. I searched my vocabulary to describe such beauty, but found myself at a loss for words. Getting to southern Africa is expensive and time-consuming, but if you have the time, you can always find ways to get there cheaply, such as discussed during the beginning of our trip to Africa in the Qatar edition. If you haven't seen it yet, check out the link below to see how we made it to Africa from Dallas, Texas for only $41.80 per person. Once you are in Africa, everything is quite inexpensive if you are flexible on your travel dates and where you stay. If you would like more information about the details of this trip, check out the links below. Please stay tuned for our next adventure as we travel around Turkey. And if you enjoyed or found this content helpful, please subscribe and hit that like button.